In like a butterfly, and aren't we busy buzzing bees? Welcome. Welcome all to the love and light that is Unity of Lawrence. In Unity, we begin everything with prayer. So let's take a centering breath and open to the divine in all of us as we listen to this prayer. With full hearts and open minds, we gather today to accept the endless possibilities of peace on earth and peace in our hearts. We acknowledge the existence of pain and injustice in the world, but we also acknowledge limitless love and our limitless being. We welcome our divine inheritance as co-creators. We know that we are already standing in the light of love, of healing, and of transformation, and so it is. Amen. And love always wins, always. There is no competition, there is always love. Our prayer chaplains are trained to hold sacred space and pray one-on-one. So if there is anything in your heart to be held in prayer, the yin, the yang, the up, the down, the celebrations, and the struggles, please see Aaron Norris after the service today at the front of the sanctuary over to the side. Our chaplains will also pray for you during the week. Just place one of those purple slips in either the offering basket or the box at the back by Kathy Moreland's office. And remember that your prayers are confidential, except in situations when you ask Unity of Lawrence to share your prayer request with the entire congregation. And with that in mind, we pray today for Nathan, who asked for prayer for prosperity, guidance, and peace of mind. We feel the power of love flowing into every part of their life, and all is well, and so it is. Amen. And now let's stand and join Holly in singing, I Am the Thinker.
Thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. And if you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts I have the power to change my life. thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. And I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I am more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
So it is. Wonderful, wonderful beings. And so as we settle into that knowing, let's affirm together unity's founding principle. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And now our Unity of Lawrence vision statement together. United in divine love and joy, we celebrate a peaceful and abundant world for all. And our Unity of Lawrence mission. We are a thriving spiritual community, sharing love, building bridges, and inspiring transformation. And so it is. As always, we are delighted when Tim Behrens is here as our musical guest. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. Well, don't pay me much mind, it's been one of those days. And sometimes got nothing left, and that's when I'll say just keep breathing, dreaming, working hard as I can. Well, don't mind these tears falling, it's just where I am. Don't worry yourself, it's all here in good time. And some days weigh heavy, heavy on my mind. Just keep loving and hoping wherever I land. Don't mind these tears falling, it's just where I am. It's just where I am. Don't give it much thought, some weeks just grow long. When everything I try is just twisted, turn wrong, keep on hoping and praying. When I'm pushed round, I sway. Don't mind these tears falling, it's just where I am. It's just where I am. You know when the rain clears, the sun's bound to shine. And just like the road veers, keep follow that line. It's the path of hope, it's the way I cope. And so far everything's fine. So don't burden yourself when I'm finding my way. And sometimes I struggle, and sometimes I stray. Just keep running and striving. When I'm knocked down, I'll stand. Don't mind these tears falling, it's just where I am. Don't mind these tears falling, it's just where I am.
I'd like that on replay over and over every day to start my day. Thank you, Tim. Well, we are doubly blessed because we have today Reverend Edna, who became a licensed Unity teacher in 2003 and an ordained Unity minister in 2006. With her husband, Reverend David Mosher, Reverend Edna previously served as co-minister for 6 years at Unity in Leesburg, Virginia, and 1.5 years here at Unity of Lawrence. Welcome. We hear angels welcoming you. Reverend Edna.
Yeah. Whatever that special music is, it's beautiful. It absolutely warms my heart to be here with you all today. Thank you all for the wonderful greetings this morning, the extra hugs that I received. It's a special day. We get to join with communities around the world as we commemorate and glean the lessons from Palm Sunday and Holy Week. You know, if the Palm Sunday Holy Week story was on our local streaming service, I know it would be rated 5 stars. Because after all, it has all the elements of a thriller. There's hoopla, 2 processions coming into Jerusalem. There's violence in a temple. There's betrayal. There's, unfortunately, murder. So 5 stars for sure. Well, at least we don't have these kind of problems in today's world. Oh, you're way ahead of me. What am I thinking? So what can we learn? What can we learn from Jesus and from others when they were facing chaotic times on the human level? Even, that's the part that gets me, even when they were following their calling. You know, you think, I'm following my calling. Where's the grace? So, we begin today with an affirmation to set the intention for our lesson and to activate the faculties of strength and will as we speak truth to these words. I'm going to say it, and then I'll invite you to repeat with me. I have the strength, resources, and freedom to choose how I respond. Together, I have the strength, resources, and freedom to choose how I respond. Awesome. Well, for almost 3 years, Jesus, our spiritual brother and way shower, had been teaching about the divine nature not only in himself, but also of everyone, and that all people are called to be loved, as we are all, they were all children of a loving God. Now, these were radical teachings which infuriated and alarmed not only the Roman rulers, but all the people within all the factions of the Jewish faith at the time, the Pharisees, Sadducees, and Herodians. Particularly this week, the earliest of the canonical Gospels, which is the Gospel of Mark, has Jesus being exalted as he rides into Jerusalem on the back of an ass. His followers are shouting, Hosanna, Hosanna. Hosanna, Hosanna. And the next day, this story goes, Jesus is in the temple, overturning tables of the money changers, and he's furious and angered that this was happening in a place of prayer, and more furious that the priests weren't stopping it. As if it could not get any worse, later that week, Jesus is betrayed by Judas, denied by his beloved Peter, sentenced to death, and crucified. Now, many believe Jesus knew the fate that lay ahead of him that week. Yet, he stayed the course. He was steadfast. He was following his calling, modeling for us the divine idea of strength. He also models for us his insistence on continually going apart for a time of prayer and contemplation, to commune with God, with the God of his understanding, in the most challenging time. Now, for me, sometimes, especially when there's a lot going on around me, I kind of cut corners and don't take that time. But he's teaching us at the worst time, this chaotic time, this is what we need to do. This is what we continually need to do. So in Unity, we look at stories, spiritual stories, metaphysically. And to me, there's two ways to do that. The first is that we look at some of the metaphysical references that are out there. So in Unity, we have the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, and we have Unity's Revealing Word, which is a dictionary of metaphysical terms. And then the second part of that metaphysical study is taking that lesson within, taking it into the silence, and letting Spirit reveal to us what is our message for that day. You might do a week later and get a completely different message. But by taking in the silence, you allow Spirit to speak and see what the message is for that day. So, as I took the story of Palm Sunday and Holy Week into that silence, 3 terms came to me: Jerusalem, the faculty of strength, and the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. Well, in the metaphysical references, the first term, Jerusalem, is a habitation of peace. It's the spiritual center in consciousness. In us, it is the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace. How does that feel? Does that sound like a good place to go? To know that we always have that available to us, the abiding consciousness of spiritual peace. And these references tell us when we go deep in the silence recesses of our being, we realize a stillness and a sweetness beyond expression. I love that. Sometimes I think of the spiritual path as, kind of rigid at times, but it's like reminding us there's a sweetness to it. So, what is happening in the story of Holy Week in Jerusalem, this term we're looking at? Well, until his capture, Jesus and his apostles would leave Jerusalem every night because it wasn't safe for them, returning each day. So when I take that story into my silence, what comes to me is the importance of each day returning to my Jerusalem, returning to that consciousness of spiritual peace, to still the activity of my mind and my body, and abide in the consciousness of peace. What a wonderful gift to give ourselves each day. We're all deserving of taking that time to do that. And what happens when we become still and rest in the peace? We are renewed. We have more energy, stamina, and strength. So we think of it might be on the spiritual level, but really it's renewing all of that within us, our energy, our stamina, our strength. A lot easier than going to the gym, I gotta say. So, in the Revealing Word, we're invited to consider the divine idea of strength, our second term that we're looking at today. And they say strength is the energy of God, where all strength originates in spirit. The energy of God. And what happens when we hold that thought of strength at the spiritual level? It opens our consciousness to bringing forth its manifestation. So perhaps there have been times in the past when you wanted to become stronger about something in your life at any level, mental, physical, spiritual, and it didn't quite work out as well as you wanted. Well, we're invited here to first start at that spiritual level with the faculty of strength so that it can manifest at the physical and mental levels in our life. So as Passover week comes to an end, a story of loss appears, the crucifixion. After Jesus was crucified, he was wrapped and laid in the tomb of Joseph of Arimathea. Let's see what the revealing word says about our third term today. Okay, we can read it up here, and I'll read it here. The tomb represents a high state of consciousness in us, in which we improve in character along all lines. We not only grow into a broader understanding, but also we increase in vitality and substance. We are resting in God, and at the same time gathering strength for the power of greater demonstrations to follow. Gathering strength for greater demonstrations to follow. So what does this tell us to expect when we have a tomb experience? We are still. We're not forcing anything. We are invited to let the activity of divine mind be in charge. We may think nothing is happening, but we are indeed growing into a broader understanding and increasing in vitality and substance. Well, later this morning, we will have a meditation or a tomb experience. And today we're going to take just a little bit longer in the silence. We're going to have a full 4 minutes. So if this amount of silence is a bit of a stretch for you, if your mind becomes distracted, I find a few gentle, deep breaths, breathing in and out, and just bringing your mind back to the breath. That'll help you settle back into that time of silence. And if you hear a noise, a cough, or a stirring somewhere in the building, just bless it and return to your breath. A time of silence for us today. All right. So, we've talked about strength. What are we going to talk about next? Resources. Would you say this affirmation with me one more time? I have the strength, resources, and freedom to choose how I respond. All right. Well, to the best of my recollection, it was 1993 when I found a small Unity community. I'd been reading authors like Shakti Gawain, Dan Millman, starting to think about my spiritual life. But it wasn't until I found and embraced and lived the teachings of Unity that I felt my spiritual nature really come alive within me. And although my past 30 years I've been influenced by authors, retreats, workshops outside of Unity, it is still Unity's foundational teachings and their people that are walking this path with me that are at the core of the resources for my spiritual journey. Well, the slide behind us identifies some of the many resources that we have within Unity, and I just want to highlight 3 today for our Holy Week lesson. Unity's 5 basic principles. What a blessing to the world they are. But principle number 2 says there's a spiritual center, a spiritual nucleus within each of us. And in Unity, we call that term the indwelling Christ. Each of us has within us the Christ idea just as Jesus did. All right, no lightning striking. Good. All right, that spiritual nucleus is within each of us. If this is a new idea to you, or you're not sure what lesson to take today, take this. Take this, that you are that blessing. That's our nature. God, Jesus killed for it, but, what can I say? So, the second resource that has blessed me this Lenten season is our booklet, the Unity booklet in the garden. I hope that you've had an opportunity to take at least one of those 40 opportunities that we've been presented with to release something. Well, the most challenging one for me last week was Monday. Anybody remember Monday? They had the nerve to invite me to release anger. It's like, what? You think this is just going to happen after I finish this reading? No. So, really, but they do point out anger can serve us. Anger can call us to action. Anger can alert us that something needs to change, that something needs our attention. But I think what the author is saying is don't stay there. Don't stay there, because that anger, if that gets in your system and stays there, that can really be damaging to your thought process, to your flow of good, to the flow of the vibration that you want to be in this world. We can instead choose to let that anger go. Like I said, easier said than done. But that's the point, isn't it? That when we are ready to grow spiritually, mentally, emotionally, Unity teachings challenge us and help us into a greater understanding and expression of divine mind. And the third, that is just at my heart, the best resource, is the Unity of Lawrence Spiritual Community. We are so blessed. We have so many people wanting to walk that journey of love and light and make a difference in the world. You know what I really love? I love the sign out there that says, "We do messy." Hi, Ann. We do messy. I was like, oh my gosh, how authentic. For a spiritual community, we don't have to be perfect. We can do messy. So, we've been sitting for a while. If you can, I invite you to stand. Just stand up. And I'm going to say a phrase, and I invite you then to repeat it after me. All right. We do messy. We do messy. I do not need to be perfect. I do not need to be perfect. I am the love and the light. I am the love and the light. We are an awesome spiritual community.
We are an awesome spiritual community.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
And if you'd like, you can be seated or dance or walk around. All right. So on our path of intention today, we set three things: strength, resources, and freedom. As we now reflect on the third part, it was the words of Viktor Frankl, a survival of Nazi concentration camps, that broadened my understanding of freedom many, many years ago. Frankl wrote, and I quote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way, unquote. How powerful. Even in a concentration camp, Viktor Frankl was free. So I want to look at another story of someone that experienced concentration camps. And this is the story of Etty Hillesum. Isn't she beautiful? To me, her story takes the idea of freedom even deeper. She was born January 25th, 1914 in the Netherlands, into a family that, although was Jewish by heritage, the concept of God and Hebrew practices were not a focus in her family. What they did focus on was classical literature, performing music, and studying 5 languages: German, French, Russian, Hebrew, and Greek. She was extremely intelligent. Her post-secondary studies included law and Slavic languages, and she earned a master's degree in 1939. 1 year later, in May of 1940, the Nazis invaded France and the lower countries, which included the Netherlands. Initially, a mild invasion, but by 1941, repressions against the Jewish population intensified. With chaos around her, externally and internally, Etty began Jungian therapy, a philosophical discourse, and a personal diary. As a deeper sense of self began to emerge, she started a half an hour daily time of reflection, prayer, meditation. That it was a unique spiritual life that emerged from within her. And it was also impacted by the writings of St. Augustine, Rainer Rilke, a German language poet that was born in Prague, Russia's Dostoevsky, the Bible, especially the Gospel of Matthew, and as she would refer to them, the letters of the Jew Paul. This led Etty to a deeper longing for silence and solitude, where she named the deep inner ground she discovered within herself as God. This daily time of reflection was Etty's tomb experience. So I want to read to you from an excerpt from a page that she wrote on July 12, 1942. She reflects, "One thing is becoming increasingly clear to me, that you cannot help us, that we must help you to help ourselves. And that is all we can manage these days, and also all that really matters. That we safeguard that little piece of you, God, in ourselves. That we safeguard that piece of you, God, in ourselves. And perhaps in others as well. Alas, there doesn't seem to be much you yourself can do about our circumstances, our lives. Neither do I hold you responsible. You cannot help us, but we must help you and defend your dwelling place inside us to the last." This is what she was concerned about protecting, that inner place within where she communed with the God of her understanding. So Etty closes out that day's reflection writing, and I quote, "And now I shall venture out upon this day. I shall meet a great many people today, and evil rumors and threats will again assault me like so many enemy soldiers besieging an inviolable fortress." Indeed, Etty had discovered an inviolable fortress within, a strength within where she and God were one, and she was the protector. At her core, Eddie also had a commitment, a refusal to hate. I'm not so sure if I could have gotten there. A refusal to hate. Well, some of Eddie's non-Jewish friends became exasperated with her as she refused their many offers to hide her. Eddie had a choice: to hide or to follow a calling that was welling up inside of her. She writes, "At this moment, I know more certainly than ever that I have a task in this life, a small project especially for me, and I shall have to live through everything. I shall become the chronicler of our adventures." In order to live her calling, she couldn't hide. She had to experience it. So she went on then, by following her calling, to document the atrocities in her diary and in her letters, her later letters, after she experienced the Nazis' Westerbork transit camp that was in the Netherlands. We now know that information from those letters that she sent after experiencing that camp helped the Dutch resistance. Eddie used her strength, her resources, as she chose how she was going to respond to the Nazis' attacks on her people. This was her act of freedom. By September of 1943, early September orders came from Germany that listed her family to be on the next transport from the Westerbork camp to Auschwitz. At the young age of 29, Eddie Hillesum died November 30th, 1943. She died a free person. She died the protector of that place within. So, as we wrap up today, we take with us the story of Jesus during Holy Week. He was strengthened by his inner prayer life and knowing his divinity, and he chose to stay the course no matter how perilous it appeared. We take with us the story of Eddie Hillesum, who discovered her spiritual identity, the God within, an inviolable fortress, which gave her the freedom to be beholden to no one, to be free how she responded. And we take with us our story. I know each of you, no matter what is going on, have the strength, the resources, and the freedom to choose how you will respond. God bless.
I hate to see you cry, lying there in that position. There's things you need to hear, so turn off your tears and listen. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. No, it won't all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. You know it's nothing new. Bad news never had good timing. Then the circle of your friends, and they will defend a silver lining. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. No, it won't all go the way it should, but I know the heart of life is good. Pain throws your heart to the ground. Love turns the whole thing around. And fear is a friend who's misunderstood. But I know the heart of life. Yeah, I know the heart of life. I know the heart of life is good.
In this beautiful sacred sanctuary, I invite you into your Jerusalem, into your tomb, your place of peace and renewal. We can breathe. Just breathe. You can let go of thoughts that are coming up. Just breathe. Let the activity of the Spirit of God, whatever name you have for that one power and one source, let it flow through you as you come into a place of peace, as you come into a place of silence. invite you to bring your awareness slowly back to this time and place. To accept all the blessings you just received in this time of silence. I invite you to know that you have a greater strength at the spiritual level and all levels. After this time of renewal and vitalization. And so it is. Amen.
Blue, like the sky, fades to gray. Well, this day passes by. All the things I'm supposed to do are done. What to say? Just my shoddy disposition gone all wrong. With the colors that I lose along the way. Yellow, like the sun, like the flowers in the fields where I should walk, but I just run. Oh, I'm always running off somewhere to be. And I'm green, so sick of choosing colors not like me. And maybe there is one that I've not seen. I'm always painting question marks in circles till they smear, wondering what the right ones are. None of them are clear, maybe red. Like my eyes, like my heart beats all these questions how and why. I'm always searching, always on the go. Well, then I'm golden, just feeling like I'm always last to know. Colors, colors, is there one that I am supposed to be? Colors, colors, is there one that's only meant for me? In all the colors of the world.
Winkle. And so as we celebrate who we are in this unity community, this is our time to affirm together our offering and the gifts to this community that are in our hands and in our hearts. So let's affirm together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And as the love offering is collected, let's join Holly in singing, God is my source. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love, love is my source, love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings.
Love gives me everything I need. Love gives me everything I need. Love gives me everything I need.
And so it is. And so here is our prayer of thanks to listen to. We are grateful and we bless the flow of good that supports our unity community. We stand in the knowing that the flow of good goes forth only to return again and again. And so it is. Amen. Well, a special welcome to all who are joining us for the first time. We are so glad you chose to be here today. And if you'd like more information about the Unity Movement and Unity of Lawrence, we have a welcome packet in the foyer. If you didn't get one on your way in, I'm happy to show you where that is on the way out and answer any questions you might have. You are also welcome because today is our second Sunday potluck, and so everyone is welcome for a time of food and fellowship after our service today. We are also collecting donations for the Humane Society all month. Please see the flyer in the foyer and bring items to help our local animal shelter, and see Pat Phillips or Lisa Miller if you have any questions. Next Sunday, our Unity of Lawrence Choir is performing, and so our last practice is tomorrow, Monday, April 14th at 6:30. See Holly if you have any questions. Remember that Phil has our open meditation Tuesdays here at 6:30. And for those who identify as male or non-binary, our men's group gathers on Thursdays at 7. And bringing those who identify as male and non-binary people together in a safe place where they can learn to open their hearts and minds and truly be heard by others in an accepting environment. And that includes our women's group as well. They're meeting this Thursday downstairs at 6:30. And for all women who identify as women, non-binary, they're welcome to hear Colleen Riley talk about her trip to Egypt. And after today's service, there's so much going on in and through us all the time. Metaphysical explorations at Unity will meet today after the potluck. See Phil if you have any questions. And join us next Sunday when Jay Pryor brings us the Easter Sunday message with music by our Unity Choir. And speaking of song, let's rise and join together in the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth